lean back like the seats of an 86 Delta 88 coupe on D's and Bones, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Going live in a minute, Blizzard King. This is Winter Dinner Spurling Podcast. You are rocking with the realest black men represented. Ain't no lies, cause we winning. Catching flies, ain't no feelings. Uncle D, we the villain, baby. We just left the village, baby. Now we in them villas, baby. Dinner Spurling Podcast. Tuning in, we get it, baby. You can hate the player, hate the game. We love all you haters. Hate watch, hate watch. Calling lovely ladies. Hands on your knees. You can thank us later. We snatching the crowns off of queens. We obliterate them. Tell the truth, shame the devil. They trying to eliminate us. You begging the sipping haters. Feeling layers off of haters. Whoa. Southern Cadillac music like Outkast. Ain't jumping without bass. Tennis Spurling Podcast. Whoa. Southern Cadillac music like Outkast. Ain't jumping without bass. Tennis Spurling Podcast. Whoa.
We have to clean up what's going on in our house before we do anything else. What's up? Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast. Shout out to Ivy Dream. Shout out to Red Sigma. Shout out to everybody in the Wrench Mob. Somebody type Wrench Mob in the chat room. My name is Dennis Spurling, also known as Uncle D, the Blizzard King. I'd like to welcome everybody to the broadcast. Yeah. Boy, we are getting close to this election, and it is getting hotter and hotter every day. Somebody type problem in the chat room. Somebody type problem in the chat room. Somebody type we the problem in the chat room. Come on now. Come on. We do interactive YouTube here. I need some participation. Somebody type we are the problem in the chat room. All right. I need y'all to make sure that you do what I say do. I want you to type we the problem in the chat room, just like a little league football team. Look, Pop Warner football team. We the problem. Come on, let's say it. Brothers, we are the problem. So we're going to cut straight to the chase because we're not here to play around. The 2024 election season is right around the corner, and Kamala Harris and the Democrats are scrambling, desperately trying to fool us into giving them our votes. And see, here's the problem. They're falling and they're failing miserably. And it's obvious why. Kamala Harris is in deep trouble. She's down in all the swing states. And instead of facing the real issues that affect black men head on, she's pulling a last-minute stunt to save her political career. Suddenly, with just about 2.5-3 weeks left until the election, she's rolled out some half-baked so-called proposal for black men. Let me tell you what it is. It's nothing more. It's nothing but a political lifeline. It's not about change. It's not about real solutions. Just pure desperation, brothers. Let's not forget, this is the same Kamala Harris who says she wouldn't do anything specifically for black people. That's her record. And now, after years of silence, inaction, and betrayal, she's thrown together empty, recycled ideas that don't do a damn thing for us black men. This isn't about helping us. It's about giving her surrogates some talking points. You see? So when we call her out, they'll have something to say in response. They want us to believe that these promises are real. But we're not stupid. We see through it. The Democrats have held our votes hostage for 60 years, and now they want to distract us with systematic racism scare tactics that we apparently will face under Donald Trump. I guess they forget that the man was the president from 2016 to 2020. Like, we have a history with him. We know who this man is. The cold part about it is the Democrats have been in power overseeing this systematic neglect for decades. And now that we're finally waking up, they think they can lure us back to that plantation with meaningless promises. We're smarter than that. We're not falling for it, not this time. Kamala Harris's media blitz has been an absolute disaster, nothing short of embarrassing. And they've paraded her out on every major network trying to salvage her crumbling campaign. But all she's done is show how uninformed and completely out of touch she really is. She can't even answer basic questions without dodging, deflecting, and talking in endless circles. Somebody type word salad in the chat room. Somebody type word salad in the chat room. Now, if someone can't give you a straight answer now, what makes you think they'll deliver anything once they're in power? Spoiler alert, they won't. And it gets worse. When Harris realized she was failing miserably at winning us over on her own, she dragged out Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. And like they were going to say, coming in like two salt and pepper haired princes and save her. Clinton, we remember his legacy. It was one of mass incarceration policies that devastated the Black communities. And Obama, he had the nerve to come out and lecture Black men, basically calling us stupid and sexist and talking down to us like he was our daddy. Because we're not enthusiastic or blindly falling in line with the Democrat agenda and following behind Kamala Harris. Well, guess what? We don't need condescending lectures. We need solutions. Obama's attempt to talk down to us only shows how out of touch the Democrat Party really is. It's disrespectful. And it's clear they have no intention of taking our real concerns seriously. Now, let's talk about Harris's so-called proposals, okay? It's loans for Black entrepreneurs. And we've heard that before, and the programs already are out there, barely touch Black men. Mentorship, that's the same old story. A health initiative for prostate cancer. Sure, it sounds good, but these initiatives already exist and they've never been tailored for us. What's different about this plan is absolutely nothing. It's another last-minute stunt designed to pull the wool over our eyes so we forget how they've neglected and ignored us for years. Brothers, this isn't new. This is the same playbook they've been using for decades. Harris is doing this because she's losing, and she's losing badly. The Democrats are terrified because they know Black men aren't buying their nonsense anymore. And they've ignored us, taken us for granted, and now they think they can throw us some symbolic crumbs and we'll just fall in line. Not this time. Not this time at all. All right. And shout out to my man, Animal Advocate. Thank you so much for being the first person to contribute to the super chat. Like I said, we're tired of being used, tired of being a political afterthought. It's time to demand better because we deserve policies that address real challenges Black men face. We deserve respect, not meaningless gestures. So, brothers, if we don't demand changes now, they'll keep on using us and discarding us. And once the election is over, we're smarter. We're smarter than that. And we've already stood strong. So let's keep doing what we're doing now. I want to talk about this so-called policy. Okay, these policy proposals aimed at Black men. Somebody type Black men first in the chat room. Come on, y'all. Let's type Black men first in the chat room. Come on, y'all. Let's get in this, man. Come on, let's go ahead and get in this. I want you guys to type Black men first in the chat room. All right. What we're doing at this particular time in our collective lives and understanding is that we're putting ourselves first, because until you have strong Black men reemerge in the Black community, there will be no Black community. Any intelligent Black woman will tell you that she can look around at the Black community and say, this is not what we had before the 1950s when Black men ran it. You see? Any intelligent black woman with sons, with a husband, with a father, with brothers, with uncles will tell you that she needs strong black men. So shout out to all the righteous sisters out there who have woken up and recognized that some of this rhetoric that's being spewed and sent over to the black community after being recycled through these liberal colleges is basically BS. All right. And a lot of the black American women who've been indoctrinated into that over the past 60 years, you see them suffering right now. Somebody type die alone in the chat room. Somebody type buy a dog in the chat room. Somebody type Kevin Samuels in the chat room. You see? He tried to educate and on the social tip, but now it's beginning to spill over into the politics. So Kamala Harris has unveiled this new policy and proposals aimed at black men. All right. And it provides allegedly millions of loans to entrepreneurs, and it creates more black male mentorship, and there's some health initiatives for diseases like prostate cancer. And then there's the weed. somebody type weed in the chat room, weed and cryptocurrency. Harris's opportunity agenda for black men, it includes a wide range of proposals. Okay. And I just mentioned them. And, again, we're talking about loans. We're talking about startup businesses. We're talking about investing in black male mentorship, training programs, protecting cryptocurrency assets, launching a health equity initiative that focuses on diseases that disproportionately affect black men. I mentioned prostate cancer, but the diabetes is in there. Legalizing recreational marijuana for black men to participate in that growing industry is not really, look, let me explain something to you. Last thing we need is more weed in the black community. We don't need any more weed. We don't need any more drugs. I don't do drugs. I don't do pills. Every now and then I drink. But ever since I've been practicing jujitsu, I don't even drink anymore because I don't want to get choked out and be hung over at the same time. Those are not two good feelings. But here's the thing. This is what she's saying, and I want to break this down to pathways to high demand jobs and expanded education access. That's one of the focuses. And so Kamala Harris's agenda allegedly promotes education and training and mentorship programs to equip black men with the skills needed to succeed in high demand fields. And these are for those who say the focus should be on black men who aren't in college. All right. She wants to increase the representation of black male teachers, which is a good idea. Shout out to my man, Elevate Engineer, just early voted and casting my vote for Trump. Kick rocks, Obama. Shout out to all my guys, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you so much for the super chats. I take time to give a shout out to everybody who gives me my super chats. I make sure I do that before we wrap this thing up. So black male teachers, okay, and her plan is to provide role models for young black men, okay, young black students. And she says the plan is to invest in teacher training programs through the Department of Education. All right. That's a good idea on its face. I don't have a problem with that. Most black men, the good brother Dr. Tiasan Johnson will tell you at his university over in California, he's sometimes the first black male or black man that these young black students run across. And that's cool. That's a good idea, okay? But I'm going to break this down in a minute. We're going to get down into the nitty gritty. Now, again, she mentioned health equity programs, and that remains one of the cornerstones of her agenda. And she has introduced a national health equity initiative focused on black men, which would address high rates of diabetes, prostate cancer, and of course, sickle cell disease. The other thing is she's now saying she's committed to legalizing recreational marijuana on a federal level. Keep in mind, this is the woman who put black folk in jail for weed in California, and now she wants to legalize. At least she came up with a law to do so. But now she urges that it'll reduce incarceration rates for black men and create economic opportunities in this emerging cannabis industry. I want you all to understand that a vast majority of young black men are in prison. And I want y'all to hear me. The vast majority are in prison for traffic tickets, warrants, child support, failure to pay child support, and marijuana charges. Isn't that something? So if you can legalize marijuana on a federal level, that would definitely reduce the incarceration rate. But remember, they're gonna find another reason to put black men in jail. That's that because that animal, and when I say that animal, I'm talking about the criminal justice system is like an animal that needs to be fed. So they're gonna keep doing it. Now the other thing is, in order to, so we want to kind of break it down a little bit. She also is proposing building affordable housing units during her first term in office. And she's going to offer up $25,000 in down payment assistance for the first-time homeowners, aiming to triple the number of new black homeowners annually by the end of the term. I want y'all to keep in mind, black home ownership dropped under Barack Obama, okay? Keep that in mind too. If you offer $25,000 down payment, I'm just going to raise the price of my home by $25,000 plus whatever it is, or $250,000 if I'm gonna need 10% plus whatever it is I was gonna charge before. So that's how homeowners, they're gonna capitalize on that. That's just free money coming from the government. And we still haven't talked about where that money's coming from. It sounds like it's coming from the taxpayers. So that's just saying taxes, higher taxes. Somebody type higher taxes in the chat room. And between these Venezuelan migrants and these proposals, it looks like we're gonna be paying some high taxes if Kamala gets elected, okay? But again, it sounds like a good idea. And there's another facet because oftentimes there's racial bias in home appraisals when it comes to black folks, okay? And as a result, our homes are often undervalued, especially when they are in majority black neighborhoods. So that's something you should keep in mind. Now, another one of her programs, right, is her economic plan centers around wealth building and supporting black entrepreneurship. And her administration says they're going to provide 1 million forgivable loans up to $20,000 to black men and others, okay, who face significant barriers to starting business. Now, what I want you to understand is this is some really cunning language, because when they say black men and others, what that really means is everybody other than black men. That's what that really means. How do you do that under a constitution of the United States which says you cannot discriminate against a person because of their race, color, and creed? And at this point, it may even be sexual orientation. How do you do that without having that law strictly scrutinized and struck down as unconstitutional? You can't do it. Somebody typed you can't in the chat room. It's not gonna happen. She just out here. Look, I don't even want to call this woman what I think she is, okay? But what I want to do is go ahead and break each aspect of this so-called proposal down like nobody else is going to do, so you all can be educated and informed. If it was good, I'll tell you it's good. If the woman said, hey, I'm willing to give cash reparations to black people, I'd be like, we might need to go ahead and vote for her. If she was gonna say, I'm gonna lower your taxes, I guarantee I'm lowering taxes like the Republicans do, she would get my vote. I'm just telling you, I'm going to vote my interest. I want you all to vote your interest. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm telling you vote your interest. That's what I always say, vote your interest. My interests so happen to align with the Republican Party at this point. I voted Democrat my whole life up until the last election, but I realized at that point it behooves me to vote Republican, because every time I vote Democrat and the Democrat goes into office, I end up paying higher taxes and it's more stress on me. So what I'm just saying is this, okay? You vote your interest. Somebody type vote your interest, okay? Vote your interest, Republican, Democrat, Green Party, Independent. I'm just here to educate you. I have my opinions, and my thing and my role is as an advocate for black men. Don't get it twisted. I'm an advocate for black men, and when people call us out, hey, it's my time to shine. Shout out to my man Griff. Thank you so much for the $10. Now look, let's talk about these plans bit by bit. She says she's going to provide millions of loans to black entrepreneurs. Now that should fall under the category of economic empowerment. Okay, now what I want you to understand is there's already existing initiatives under the Small Business Administration, also known as the SBA. They already provide small business loans to minorities, and that includes Black entrepreneurs. They have a community advantage loan program and a 7A loan program focused on underserved markets, which includes Black business owners. Okay, the Department of Commerce and Minority Business Development Agency, also known as MBDA, also offers grants and financial assistance targeted at minority business owners, including Black men, but also extending to Black women and other racial minorities. So while Harris's proposal aims to offer millions of loans to these programs already exist, and they exist under a broader minority of people of color initiative, and there's no clear focus specifically on Black men, meaning that Black women and other racial minorities would also be eligible under the guise of minorities. That's what she's saying. This is doublespeak. Okay, those programs already exist. So now, what have we established? Under her economic empowerment of giving millions of dollars to Black entrepreneurs, that's already out there, Kamala. Stop lying. Somebody type stop lying in the chat room. Another thing, creating more Black male mentorship programs. That falls under the category of education and work development, in my opinion. Now, here's the thing. We had something called My Brother's Keeper Initiative. It was launched by President Obama, okay, and it focused on mentorship and development programs for young men of color, primarily Black and Latino. And you also have under the Department of Education, the federal government, through various educational grants and mentorship programs, already support efforts to improve representation and mentorship for students from underrepresented groups, including Black males. So while there's a focus on Black men and boys through initiatives like MBK, the phrase people of color, okay, often dilutes the focus specifically on Black men. And Black male mentor programs already exist. And they exist within the broader framework that often pool Black men together with other racial groups. And thus, this potentially diminishes the resources specifically aimed for Black men. So in other words, it already exists. And what she's proposing is really just going to be another people of color initiative. Somebody say, stop lying, Kamala. Stop lying. Here's another one. She's got this health initiative for diseases like prostate cancer and sickle cell and high blood pressure. You know, all that stuff we get. We would call that health equity. Okay? Now, again, the Office of Minority Health under the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. This addresses the health disparities amongst racial and ethnic minority populations already. That includes Black men. And they do it through initiatives focusing on conditions such as the diabetes, sickle cell disease, and prostate cancer, and heart disease. So that's already in place, Kamala. And then you have the National Institute of Health, the they call it NIH. It funds extensive research targeting health issues disproportionately affecting Black Americans, such as prostate cancer, diabetes, and it does so under the umbrella of minority health, rather than specifically focusing on Black men. So again, health disparities for Black men are already acknowledged and addressed by these existing government programs. Okay, the focus, and that's cool, the focus is often diluted though. Okay, it includes Black women and other minority groups. For instance, any initiative that references Black people in health is going to allocate funding across both genders and others. The concern here for me is that the resources specifically meant for addressing health issues in Black men will be reallocated to broader categories, and that's going to reduce the direct impact. So again, somebody type stop lying in the chat room. Somebody type stop lying, Kamala, in the chat room. Stop lying. All right, come on now. Somebody put stop lying in the chat room. All right, so we didn't. That's the third one we done blew up. Now, protecting crypto assets. I don't even know how this is directly related to Black men. Most brothers these days, brother, I just found out people are keeping their money on Cash App. They get mad They don't even have their money in the bank anymore. They just got a Cash App. You keep your money on Cash App. Lord Jesus. Maybe you buying crypto. I don't know a lot of black men that buy crypto, but this is going to fall under, I would say, financial literacy, maybe financial security. But the thing you got to understand is the SEC, also known as the Security Exchange Commission, it regulates cryptocurrency. And it does so among other financial markets, and it provides investors education resources on protecting assets. And while, the focus is not specifically on black men, the SEC offers resources to every investor, including minorities. All you have to do is go to the damn website. You can probably find a YouTube video on it at this point. Protecting crypto assets. How about protect us from child support? How about that? How about y'all do that? How about y'all protect us from these increases in child support? How about y'all protect us from paternity fraud? I didn't hear that. You know what I'm saying? But let me digress. Okay, let me slow down. All right. Now, furthermore, on this protecting crypto assets proposal, she acting like it's brand new. You have a bureau called the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Okay, and this bureau provides financial literacy resources that could be applied to cryptocurrencies. Again, it's under a broader umbrella of helping all consumers, including minorities and people of color. These initiatives that she's proposing, it's not unique to black men at all. Cryptocurrency is it's an emerging field, but current regulations and protections are available to all investors, regardless of race and gender. And financial literacy and asset style protection initiatives, they include all minorities, not specifically black men. And the use of the term like people of color generally means black men and black women and everybody else, Indian, Native American, Mexican, Hispanic, Latino, Russian, Ukraine. Everybody's included in that, and they're gonna slide some white women in there too. You see what I'm saying? So again, tell Kamala to stop lying. Y'all tell her, somebody type stop the cap in the chat room. That's what we're gonna say. Somebody type stop the cap in the chat room. You acting like this is new. Stop the cap. Cut it out. Stop playing. We know what you're doing. Okay? You playing with us. These initiatives already exist now. Legalizing recreational marijuana for black men to participate in the cannabis industry. Now, that would definitely fall under criminal justice reform and the economic empowerment. Here's my thing. Why don't you do this for me, Kamala? Why don't you promise to pardon all of those black men who are in jail for their weed charges on the federal level? Even if they're in there for something else, pardon them on the weed charges that they have, whether it's selling or growing. And yeah, they might have some other cases that they're fighting, but if you got 5 years for weed and 15 years altogether, you might have served your time. Let's get some pardons going. Let's get some forgiveness programs going. Brothers don't need to sell weed. They need to get out of jail, please. You understand me? But again, I'm just saying, since you want to do criminal justice reform, but let's talk about this. First of all, when it comes to legalization of recreational marijuana, many states, California, Colorado, they've already legalized recreational marijuana. And so these initiatives include equity programs already, and it's aimed at minorities, which means that includes black people and that includes black men. Okay, but here's the problem. They often involve a broad scope of folk already. As I said, it's not like you're going to waive some of the restrictions. You still want them to abide by the same criteria. So That's on the state level. And then the Office of Cannabis Management, and this is in various states like New York and California, they regulate marijuana, they regulate cannabis, and they offer licenses and economic opportunities to those affected by the war on drugs, and that includes Black people as a whole. So even if you have a bit of a criminal record, depending on what it is, some of these people can see past it. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Shout out to Terenzo Jones. Thank you so much, bro. And y'all appreciate y'all in cash. This initiative is framed as though it's benefiting Black men. But white people use more drugs than Black people in the first place. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I know it's still people that smoke marijuana, but it's a lot of young Black folks that don't smoke marijuana. They seem to be one extreme to the other. They either super heavy into their health and so on and so forth, or they just, on a binge all the time. But the bottom line is you act like this is helping Black men, okay? But there's already economic opportunities and social justice programs around cannabis legalization that benefit all minorities already, and that includes Black women. Matter of fact, many of these equity programs are gender neutral, and they focus on any disadvantaged group. And so Black men are going to be just grouped in together with other impacted demographics. And there's no explicit focus on Black men alone. And you can't do it under the Constitution. Didn't y'all just see they overturn affirmative action on the federal level? Do you think the federal government is going to say, oh, yeah, we just going to give these Black men these benefits and privileges? It's not going to happen. Okay? It's not going to happen. Look, you already have these existing government departments and branches already addressing these same issues that Captain Kamala said that are basically going to be new for Black men. They're addressed on both the state and the federal level. You have numerous agencies and departments tasked to deal with it. Overlapping. I talked about Small Business Administration, Department of Commerce, the Department of Education. I mentioned my brother's keeper. You got the Office of Minority Health, the National Institute of Health, Center for Disease Control. You got all this already, okay? So what I'm trying to explain to y'all, fam, is most of these proposals under Captain Kamala Harris's plan for Black men, they are not unique to Black men. They fall under broader initiatives for people of color or minorities, meaning Black women and other racial groups benefit from them as well. Additionally, many of these programs and policies, they not only do they exist, but they've been around for a long time. Okay, and by not and what happens if you say, oh yeah, this is not going to be explicitly for Black men, it's going to be for everybody, because that's what you have to do. And so these initiatives risk diluting the intended impact and perpetuating the problem of grouping Black men with broader categories that's not going to address our specific needs. And so by understanding how these programs already exist and the overlap with the current efforts, it's clear that while the agenda sounds good, it's not offering a darn thing that's distinctly tailored or unique to the challenges that Black men face. Now, here's the thing, man. What this does for me, if it didn't do it for you, is it demonstrates just how inauthentic Kamala Harris is with this last minute set of proposals. She says it's aimed for Black men, but as we outline the policies that she says specifically would target and uplift and help Black men, each policy, we talked about it, is supposed to address these key challenges, right? It doesn't. Now, what do I think we need? Because see, this is can I share with you? Because I talk to the brothers. I can give you some ideas. I can give you some ideas on what would represent authentic, targeted initiatives, unlike those broad proposals that she conflates with Black men's issues. I can talk to you. Huh? Y'all want to hear it? Somebody type, yeah, in the chat room. If you want to hear me tell you what I know the brothers need, and this is not an exhaustive list, but I can tell you, y'all want to hear somebody say, yeah, in the chat room. Yeah, we want to hear it. I can help you. Yeah. I can help you out. Y'all want to hear it? Okay. Okay, I got one or two. Yeah. If y'all listening, because I know they listen to me. I know everybody is listening to what I'm saying right now because I'm over here and I'm hitting people in the throat. You know what I'm saying? I'm over here hitting people in the throat around here. And so I know they're listening to this YouTube page. We might not be big, but we mighty. People take what I say and they roll off with it. Somebody type yeah in the chat room. Yeah. All right. So I talk to black men on a very regular basis. We interact. You know, for the first 3 years, I would have a panel full of black men every night. And I can tell you one of the main things the brothers are talking about is comprehensive fatherhood and black male family support programs. That's the need. See, black men face disproportionate challenges in maintaining strong family structures due to, number one, mass incarceration, economic disenfranchisement, and systematic barriers to family cohesion. What do I mean by that? You purposely targeted the black man. You purposely targeted the black family, and you purposely want to destroy the power base of the black family because we was giving this country too much hell. And so you use COINTELPRO, drugs, the war on drugs, and you purposely targeted the black man. So at this point, black fathers in particular are often alienated from their families due to legal and societal challenges. Welfare won't let you do it. You can't live in that house if your woman is getting food stamps and welfare. They did that to us. So how do we satisfy that need? Well, I would say a specific policy establishing black male fatherhood programs that provide legal aid, counseling, and family reunification support and parenting classes geared towards black men in black communities, in black neighborhoods that will directly address this issue. Put as many black male fatherhood program buildings as you have Planned Parenthood buildings in the community. Hire a bunch of black psychologists, men especially, incentivize them to work there. Get some legal aid. Go to some of these local universities, and just like you have a law school with a legal aid department, see if you can get some lawyers to do legal aid and target black male fatherhood programs. Because black men suffer from a lot of parental alienation. You want to know why the black community is torn up like it is? Because there ain't no fathers there in the hood, because we can't deal with these women, because these women have been empowered. All they got to do is make up a story and call 911 on you. So that's what we need, black male fatherhood programs. Another thing, how about some economic assistance? How about providing financial aid and job programs at reintegrating black fathers into the workforce? That would also boost their ability to support these families. We don't need weed. Weed is going to make sure you are not very productive at your job, whether it's legalized or not. That's like alcohol. You can't be drinking all day and go to work. That's going to interfere with your productivity. So how about that? There's a need. What about the court system? We need some court system reform. And you can start on the federal level. Reform the family law courts and the child custody systems, because they disproportionately favor the woman. They disproportionately favor mothers. Why don't you do something like ensure fair legal protections for black fathers and reduce the barriers that black men face in maintaining custody and visitation? Why don't we do away with something like, well, how about we install 50-50 custody and do away with child support? Because I know plenty of black fathers that are much better parents than the mothers. I bet if black men got their children, first of all, it'd be the out of wedlock birth rate would decrease immediately. Let's start with that. Number two, those children would be disciplined and they would have to be raised. And the ladies can go off and live their best life. How about that? How about we do some court system reform? You here trying to give us weed and cryptocurrency. We need court system reform. That's what we need. And I'll be more than happy to help out with that. See, without targeted support, Black fathers face systematic barriers to providing stability and guidance for our children. And this perpetuates cycles of poverty and disenfranchisement. And this creates a support in creating a support system for Black men as fathers will empower family units and reduce single parent homes. And that's going to create healthier communities. But she didn't propose that. She just capping. That's all she's doing is capping Kamala. I need to get my super chats up. I need 15 more super chats. We got 5 and that's live, but I need 15 so we can be clean. So let's continue. What else do we need? How about some a Black Men's Health Equity Fund? You understand me? See, Black men suffer from high rates of preventable disease like hypertension, prostate cancer, diabetes, and also mental health issues. So a lot of undiagnosed mental health issues. A lot of it comes from our upbringing. A lot of it comes from post-traumatic stress associated with growing up in these trying situations and living in these stressful situations. Okay? And if you compare ours to any other demographic, it's very high. And the current health programs, even those targeting minorities, often fail to address the specific cultural and economic and historical factors that contribute to Black men's poor health and outcome. First of all, we don't like doctors because we have a bad reputation. We have a bad relationship with these doctors. You understand me? Very bad relationship. Okay? So what we're going to need is some tailored health program. Establish a Black Man's Health Fund. A Black Man's Health Fund. In other words, put some money in it. Okay? Put some money in it. Dedicated to providing free or subsidized health screenings, especially for prostate cancer, heart disease, and mental health. And this fund will work specifically with Black men in culturally competent healthcare settings. Just like y'all have set-asides and stuff for other groups. How about a fund for Black men for health? I know they don't want to give us any money. How about some health? Okay, and the way you ensure that is you get a lot more Black doctors and a lot of more Black professionals involved in it. And then that's going to cause for the Black people to want to come there in the first place. Now, as far as mental health services, somebody type mental health. There's some crazy people on the internet looking at this broadcast right now. All my crazy people, put type number 1 in the chat room. All my crazy people. Where my crazy people at? Somebody, all my crazy. If you know you're crazy, type number 1 in the chat room. You understand what I'm saying? All my crazy people. We need to launch some initiatives that provide therapy and counseling tailored to the unique experiences of Black men, including trauma. Trauma caused by racism, police violence, the fear of police violence, okay, and generational poverty, okay, and hiring Black male therapists or culturally competent mental health professionals will encourage more men to seek help. That's how that works. The reason the brothers come over here to me is because I prove to them time and time again, I am a Black man. I'm like them. I deal with the same issues they deal with. I got Black sons. That's why they come here. That's why so many Black men gravitate to my page. You know how hard it is to get 70,000 Black men in one place? Ain't no breasts being shown, ain't no booty shaking going over there. I have 70,000 Black men. And look at my demographic, look at my page. 70,000 Black men that are on this page. See, a lot of other people, they have a lot of followers. They got people from different demographics and whatnot, different age. I got 70,000 30-plus-year-old Black men who are on my page. And they come here because I'm Black. They come here because they understand I speak for them and we can relate. That's what I need y'all to understand. You see what I'm saying? So if you create mental health services that are run by Black professionals, especially foundational Black American men who understand the experience of being an FBA, that's going to help out tremendously. And other health professionals, of course. The other thing is we need to increase, she should come up with a program to increase access to preventative health care for Black men. Okay, how about some mobile health clinics in predominantly black neighborhoods? How about you get you some trailers and such, and you pull up in Chicago and say, we checking blood pressure. We'll be back next week. How about that? We're doing heart scans. We're gonna check your valves to make sure they're not clogged up. We're gonna do your sugar test, diabetes test. You can do that. That's not hard. That's what she should have said instead of all that capping. And see, this is necessary because black men have the lowest life expectancy and highest preventable mortality rates in the United States. And specific interventions are required to close this gap. General health initiatives that target people of color, all that does is dilute the resources, and they fail to even get to black men. And that leads to the continued health disparity. Black men know that if it's a line to get in, we are going to be in the last part of that line. Matter of fact, if it's a line that says black people over here, black men are going to be in the last line. Black women and the girls are going to go first, and we're going to be last. So we're not going to even go. Matter of fact, there are people in the black community who say, man, don't just tough it out. Walk it off. Somebody type walk it off. You need to walk off that heart attack. You need to walk off that diabetes and let mama go first. Let your sisters go first. Be a man. And so brothers like, man, I'm cool. I'm good. I'm going to just take me some aspirin, smoke me some weed, throw back some of this Hennessy, and I'll be all right. I'll take a nap. That's what we do. That's how it is. So it has to be specifically targeted for black men. Again, shout out to my man Logic Hits. How about another one? If we want to talk about criminal justice reform, how about a black men's legal defense fund? How about an expungement program? Hey, I'm going to say, hey, I'm Kamala Harris. I'm going to set up a black man's legal defense fund or an expungement program for black men. Because we already know that black men are disproportionately incarcerated due to systematic racial biases in the legal system. How is it that more white people get arrested, but more black people get convicted? How is it that more white people get arrested, okay? And I'm talking about per capita. I'm talking about more white people get arrested, irrespective of their numbers, and more black people get incarcerated. Well, somewhere between getting arrested and getting convicted, the DA, the jury, the judge, maybe a clerk of court decides to let these white people go, whereas black people are not given the benefit of the doubt. You understand what I'm saying? We even serve time different. Oftentimes, black men get harsher sentences. Black men face tremendous challenges in finding employment and securing housing and restoring their civil rights due to these criminal records. We need some expungement programs. And these existing expungement initiatives, they're slow and they're complex. And they prevent many black men from rebuilding their lives. How about we expedite that process? Now, how will that satisfy a need? Y'all can figure that out. You create a federal program that automates the expungement or sealing of criminal records for nonviolent black men after a certain period. That's going to provide a fresh start for many who have been systematically disenfranchised. What about legal aid for black men? Provide some free legal assistance to black men facing minor infractions and parole violations, along with some services that expunge or clear their criminal records. You see? How about you partner with some private sector companies to offer direct pathways to employment for formerly incarcerated black men, along with housing assistance programs that remove barriers related to criminal history? Here's what I want y'all to understand. They house your butt for that 5 to 10 years while you in jail. Why can't they house you and get you back together when you get out for a little while and expunge your record so you can get back to working? A lot of these men get locked up, and you got some habitual criminals, but a lot of these men get locked up for something minor and they end up doing 1.5 years, and then while they're in there, something else happens, and then they end up doing a little bit more time, and then they get out, they don't have any employment opportunities, so they end up committing crimes again, and they go right back in. They never get rehabbed. I want y'all to understand that. Shout out to my man MC Recovery Relapse. See, all of these are actual proposals that we can get behind. Black men are overrepresented in the criminal justice system, and often the non-violent crimes are stemming from just poverty. You understand? Billionaires are not running out robbing liquor stores. Okay? Billionaires are not out there shoplifting. Millionaires are not doing that. So a lot of the issues we deal with are poverty. Even some of the violent crimes is because you're frustrated. Poverty does that to you, fam. Shout out to my man Black Samurai. My man, yeah, we on their mind now. They need us. Somebody type they need us in the chat room. My man said, I never heard so many people talking about black men in all my years. We must be important to some people. As black men, we need to own our enterprise. No, what's happening is, brother, you've been listening to these men on the internet for about 10, 15 years, and we've been comparing notes. Somebody typed to compare notes, and we got our nuts back. We got our nuts back, and we said, we're not going to let these women run us. We're not going to let these politicians push us. We're going to do our own thing. And see, all you had to do for all these years is just stand up. Somebody type stand up in the chat room. All you had to do was stand up, brothers. And you see black men standing up. And there's no one leader. There might be some voices. There might be some avatars. I'm simply an avatar. I just know what you want, and I just know how to articulate what you want. But I'm not, you come here because I'm telling you what you want to be. I'm telling the world what you want to be said on your behalf. That's all that happened. All you had to do was stand up, and you see black men standing up, even in defiance, saying we're not going to go along with the same old program. That's what's happening. Ain't that something? They always say the squeaky wheel gets the oil. As long as you all were strong and silent, as long as y'all were cool, the cool black man that just went along with everything, you got no attention. But now they got to pay attention to you. Now they're revealing just how important you are. What you don't do is go back to that plantation. Make them work for you. You know what this is like? This is like a black man who's put in the time and put in the work, and you constantly was ignored by that pretty girl that you kind of liked a little bit. She constantly ignored you, so you went off on your own after years of trying to talk to her. You went off on your own. And when you went off on your own and she saw you using your passports and she saw you taking care of yourself and not worried about her, 46% of black men are unmarried and don't have children. Black men are traveling overseas now higher than they ever did before. Black men are dating out to the tune of 20%. Once you went on about your business, now they want to come run chase you because, see, they said they were strong, independent, and didn't need a man. Well, you don't need these men's votes either. You don't need these men's political support either. It's just like a woman, she want to divorce you and keep your money. Oh no. You ain't gonna get my money now. No, you just like you're not gonna tell me you tell the world you don't need me and we dusty. Somebody type dusty in the chat room. We a bunch of dusty. You've been calling us dusty for years now. You've been saying you're gonna divest from us for years now. Well, keep on, keep that same energy, keep on divesting. Keep on calling us dusty. We gonna go on about our business. And now they're like, uh-oh, Donald Trump represents a threat. He's bringing revenge back to the White House. Ooh, if Donald Trump gets into the office, ooh, wait. Shout out to my man, I Dodge a Trap. If Donald Trump gets into the office, do you know what he is going to do? Revenge. Revenge. I can already tell you. And see, for us, it's like, look, we need to shake this system up a little bit. And a lot of black men had appeals to him. He's going to go in there and some heads are going to roll. It's going to be payback. He's going to be in there playing James Brown, the big payback. Big payback. It's going to be big payback up in there. All these people that try to put this, man, it's going to be a problem, man. You understand what I'm saying? It's going to be a problem. And they realize that, and now they like, oh, snap, crackle, pop. You see what I'm saying? So, that's what's going on. But let me get back And so now they need you, brothers. They need you. And I want y'all brothers to keep standing up. Don't bow down. Don't go back to the plan. Keep them on their knees. That's what I want you to do. Do not go back. Don't give in. The fight is on. Okay? Somebody type the fight is on in the chat room. The fight is on. Don't give in. Don't get soft. Somebody type Mamala in the chat room. They say, come on back to y'all see old crying man Van. I'm gonna have to talk about that. Old crying man Van Jones said, we know black men just needed a hug. We know y'all just needed a hug. And Kamala Harris, she gave y'all a hug. Y'all just need some love. We don't want no love from her. She ain't even one of our women. We don't want no love from her. We want tangibles. Somebody type tangibles in the chat room. She ain't our damn mama. We don't need no mamas. Ooh, I'm gonna hit that tomorrow. I'm gonna deal with that tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna deal with love letter tomorrow. I don't want to get distracted. I want to stay focused. So let me get back to what we're doing. All right. So again, we're talking about things that black men really need. Okay, instead of this last minute proposal, how about some comprehensive fatherhood and black male family support programs? And I described them. How about a black man equity fund, money for us? Okay. How about a legal defense fund and an expungement program? How about that? Shout out to Man I Dodged the Trap. The other thing is, let's talk about targeted economic reparations for black men. Somebody type reparations in the chat room. Look, I believe in reparations. I believe we should get reparations for anybody who owe us reparations, whether it's the American countries, the United States, Western countries, and also the African countries. I believe in reparations. Pay me. You understand me? And it don't matter what you do with it. It's your money. Understand me? Just like they could do whatever they wanted to do with our bodies for hundreds of years, we can do whatever we want to do with the money they owe us. Because you can't give us what we lost. You can't give us our culture, our names, our history, the land that was taken away from us when we were taken from our country. You can't get that back. So give us our money. That's the least you can do. But nevertheless, I want to talk about targeted economic reparation programs for black men. Black men in particular have been economically disadvantaged for centuries because of slavery and Jim Crow laws. Now, Jim Crow also includes not giving black men the GI Bill when they came back from Korea, when they came back from World War I, when they came back from World War II. Keep that in mind, okay? See, we are often disenfranchised the most, okay? And with lower educational attainment and higher unemployment rates and lower overall wealth accumulation, we could have used that boost. See, they had a land grab. They opened up the West, places were like Kansas, they were the West. They opened up the West and folk went in and just took land, but they wouldn't give us that land. You see what I'm saying? Because of our color. A lot of black men couldn't get the GI Bill. We were redlined, so we suffered. You end up renting apartments for your whole life because you couldn't get a house. You were redlined. So how about some direct cash payments for black men? How about we establish a federal reparation program that provides direct cash payments to black men whose families were directly impacted by slavery and Jim Crow and other discriminatory practices such as redlining. If your daddy or your granddaddy applied for a home loan and he was denied a home loan, or he was given a home loan with these exorbitant interest rates because he lived in a certain community, that sounds like reparations to me that I'll take. And that's easy to find out. We ain't got to go back 200 years. We can go back 30 or 40 years. I'm sure the records are still available. All right. How about creating some specific, create a specific economic development fund that provides grants to black men who want to start or grow businesses in industries with high barriers to entry, such as technology and finance and construction. How about that? How about that? It's almost like a scholarship. You can call it what you want to call it. Just put some money in the bank. Shout out to my man, OTOB. Bo, thank you so much, fam. I'm going to read all my super chats in a minute. Let's get these super chats up. I need 20. That'll be plenty. We got 15, and that's clean. Oh, yeah. But what about asset building for black men? How about we launch a federal program that provides financial literacy, investment, and wealth building opportunity. I don't want to know about no goddamn cryptocurrency. Why don't you get some high schools in some black communities, okay, and send some people down and say, hey, today we're going to have a workshop on asset building that's unique to black men. How about that? How about that? How about we do that? How about we go where the people are instead of making them run to us? How about we do that? Sounds good to me. What about, you know, and these are things that are necessary. All right. I believe in reparations, but I want to be real specific, because unless you're real specific, everybody else but you is going to get it. Keep that in mind. All right. Black men continue to face the steepest economic challenges among racial and gender groups. And despite, you know, these existing minority business programs, black men are often left behind due to the systematic racial economic exclusion. So reparations and economic development initiatives that specifically target black men, that would help. That'll help some address some historic continuing to help address this continuing disenfranchisement. I want y'all to keep that in mind. Okay? Keep that in mind. This is what we're dealing with out here. All right? Y'all hit the #1 button, man. We got to get a few more super chats up in here. I'm gonna take a quick break. Get my jelly jar. I gotta get me some water. Y'all hit the #1 button, man, and show me some love by subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And that way I don't have to put the subscribe button on. Subscribers on. I want to see all of y'all up in here doing what we need to do. I'll be right back. My name is Dennis Spurling. I'm an attorney here in Houston, Texas. My mandate is to be an advocate for black men, largely because I am a black man. I'm a black father. I have black sons. And I want to make sure that the issues confronting black men are defended, protected, enunciated, spoke upon by black men who have a vested interest in the black community. And so my draw to the Black Manosphere, or YouTube in general, to use my voice, my wisdom, my experience, was solely because black men weren't being heard. But they're hearing us now. They're hearing us as to our issues related to modern relationships, politics, education, finance, and so many other things. And I'm extremely proud of these gentlemen. I'm extremely proud of the people who put this together. It is a wonderful event, and I look forward to attending in the years to come. Hey man, I do what I do. Have pride in yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. That's the other thing. Don't let this world keep kicking you and making you feel like you're not good enough. You plenty. I don't care if you're 10 pounds, 50 pounds overweight, 30 pounds underweight. You don't make enough money. You make too much money. You're too tall. You're too short. You're perfect the way you are. And I want you brothers to begin to take that. A lot of you guys did not have father figures to reinforce these things in you. You don't have that manly fatherly love supporting you in the back of your head saying, son, you can go out there. The world is yours. I'm not your father's, but I love you like I'm your own uncle. We all want people. And so I'm telling you, brothers, I love you as a person that most people would say is successful. I'm telling you, the opportunity is out there, and most of you guys are doing much better than I was at your age. You're more confident. You got the world, you got the benefit of people like me who've made mistakes, and I want to see you ball. That's it. Yeah. Welcome back. Y'all hit the #1 button. Remember, Uncle D's still working, man. So I got to make sure I keep my day job going. Y'all hit the #1 button. These super chats ain't popping like that. They ain't popping like that. Bars. I got some mean bars, man. But anyway, so we're talking about Kamala Harris's plan for black men, and I kind of went through her plan, and you know, for the most part, it's all cap. And the reason I call it all cap is because most of the stuff exists already, and she's just trying to repackage the same old trash that didn't work for us in the first place. It works for somebody, it just doesn't work for us. It's like affirmative action. That never really benefited black folk. Started benefit white folk and black folks who are immigrants. It doesn't benefit black people, especially black men. And black men are the last in line to benefit any darn thing. Now, if you want to talk about education, how about some career training focused on Black men? Because for the most part, we're the least represented demographic in higher education, and we're often concentrated in low wage, low opportunity jobs. And the current education programs tend to focus broadly on minorities, and that dilutes our impact on Black men specifically. And there's a high dropout rate among Black males, leading to diminished career prospects. Here's the thing. Not everybody's gonna go to college. You guys remember Aaron the plumber? Y'all remember him from a couple of weeks ago? I think I was probably one of the only people that stood out. Balloon Pop, the young man, the Balloon Pop brother. Y'all remember him? Somebody type Aaron the plumber in the chat room. You guys remember that? I grew up with people like Aaron the plumber. I grew up with him. I grew up with, his name is Aaron Sloan. I grew up with people like that. Many of my friends are just like Aaron the plumber. Matter of fact, he's from California and I'm from California. I'm from South Central Los Angeles, those of you. Matter of fact, hold on, where's my hat at? Where's my doggone hat at? One of my good friends, MC Recovery guy, sent me this hat. Yeah, baby, look at Uncle D. Yeah, so Aaron the plumber is from California. He's from where I'm from. And I'm gonna tell you, it hurt my heart. It hurt my heart to see y'all destroying that man, to see y'all assassinating that young Black man. Because he loved being a plumber. He loves being a plumber. And I'm proud of him. And I wish that many of my friends who I grew up with back in the 80s and 90s, I wish they had become plumbers instead of pursuing their career as gangbangers, as criminals, as boosters, because they would still be alive. You see? I went to a school called Manual Arts High School in South Central LA, but it wasn't no manual arts going on. They had since gutted the programs. And when I say manual arts, I'm not saying Emmanuel. I'm saying auto mechanic, electric, plumbing, wood shop. That's what I'm saying. That would have saved lives. So when I see a young man like Aaron the plumber, I'm gonna tell you like this: I'd take 100,000 Aaron the plumbers, and we could damn near take over the world. We could take over 4 or 5 states with some hardworking young Black men who are blue collar workers. So Kamala Harris is not talking about a damn thing. Everybody's not going to college. Everybody shouldn't go to college. The college hustle is a little too hard for anybody anyway. But you can get in there and become a plumber or an electrician. You can get in there and become an auto mechanic, and you can do very well for yourself, and you can stay out of trouble, and you can have your own business. That's why I stood up for that young man, because he reminded me of my own. He reminded me of my homeboys from back in South Central Los Angeles, who I wish had took up some trade career, because we was all told, oh yeah, man, you need to go play football. We down there at LA City College and Southwest trying to get into USC or UCLA. And it just wasn't for everybody. Most of us didn't make it, but they would have made it as a plumber. They would have made it as an electrician. They would have been making 20, 30, 40. At this point, they'd have been making $45, $50 an hour. They'd have had their own businesses. Most millionaires drive pickup trucks. So how about we get some educational grants and some career trainers focused on Black men? How about we put some funding into the high schools to get these doggone trades back up? And I'm gonna tell you why, because the trade unions don't want it. They don't want to compete with a bunch of young men coming up out of high school already having halfway perfected the trade. They want you to get out there and struggle. And they know who's in these high schools. I want you to understand what I'm saying. See, I love you all. And I see well, let me say, it pains me to go back and think about all the good black men, all the young brothers that I lost as a young man. See, I don't have a lot of, I would say, old school friends. I got one or two. You know, some of the brothers managed to keep out of trouble. But my God, it would be so easy. Just give them some jobs, and only give them some jobs and train them. And it's not that hard. They got to go to high school anyway. Teach them how to do something at 18 that they can do instead of, I got to go to the military or go to college or take a job working in some low-paying fast food place. Teach them something. These are American citizens we're talking about. We earn that right. And like I said, the current education programs, they focus, first of all, the programming that we have now in the school system, it kind of caters to women and it kind of turns men off. You got to sit there with your legs closed and be quiet. You can't move around, and you got some woman in front of the school, in front of the class, usually a white woman, looking at you sideways. You just feel uncomfortable. On top of that, your belly you're hungry, and you know it's issues. So let's start with the trades. Let's start bringing trades back. Let's get. We want 100,000 Aaron the plumbers, and y'all go hit my man up and hit him on the page. Tell him Uncle D, send him a shout out. We need 100,000 plumbers. We need 100,000 electricians. We need 100,000 because AI is not going to replace the plumbers. AI is not going to replace the electricity. Ain't nobody going to get up on your house and no robot is going to get up under that house and fix that poopy pipe that just burst. They're not going to do that. You understand? You can't fine tune a computer program to do that just yet. They might be close, but they ain't got to that point. So let's do that and get on through the next generation. Not everybody's going to college, but for the black men who are going to college, how about we establish some federal education grants exclusively for black men to attend college or vocational schools that covers tuition and the living expenses? And that way we ensure that the financial barriers are removed. Kamala didn't say that. That would be too much like right. She's not going to do that. How about we fund workforce development programs that specifically train black men in high demand fields like technology, engineering, and the other skilled trades that I mentioned before. And these programs, they can partner with employers. And you can guarantee jobs upon graduation. Every person that has worked in my law office that has gone on to be a lawyer has done well for themselves. And that's just how you partner with private business. The scholarships that I gave to those young ladies last month, was it last month? Was that a couple of weeks? Was it last month? Those young ladies, one of them is going to law school, and she already knows how to practice the law. She might not understand the law, but she'll learn that in law school. But she knows how to run a business. That's what happens when you have institutions like colleges or universities partnering with private sector. I can't do that everywhere, but there are people out there who can do it. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't take that much. It just takes some thoughtfulness and some get to it. The other thing is we need to support HBCUs and we need to increase federal funding for historically black colleges and universities with a specific mandate, to recruit and support black male students through scholarships, mentorships, and career development. Here's the cold part. When you go to a HBCU these days, it's filled up with women. Not often a whole lot of black men. It's filled up with women. So what does that mean? That means you got a whole lot of black women graduating and a lot less black men out there for them to mate up with. There's a lot less black men that they will find suitable mates because they don't have education, at least on that level. So how about we start targeting black men? You got a promising young black man with a GPA. He doesn't have to be a rocket scientist. You recruit a football player out of one of these schools, one of these high schools with a 2.0 or a 2.5. If he's a good enough player, how about take some of these young black men with a lot of capability and put them in some of these HBCU programs and let them go through it. And let's see if we can get some college education for them. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, black men are disproportionately absent in higher paying demand fields because of the educational inequity. They don't even get a chance. Too many systematic barriers. Poverty after poverty, generation of poverty is going to do that to you. And we need to break that cycle. Break the cycle of underemployment and poverty. And we need to get general education programs aimed at minorities that often fail to reach black men specifically, which is why we need some exclusive initiatives. Now, I talked about mental health. Okay, we need to talk about mental health. Black men, particularly those in urban areas, are disproportionately impacted by gun violence, police brutality, and fear of police brutality, which also causes stress, also systematic poverty. And these factors contribute to trauma and mental health and challenges that often go unaddressed in broader mental health programs. They just tell you to walk it off as a black man. They don't even believe you in pain, much less mental issues. Get mental health. They won't even acknowledge that. So what sort of things? How about we create some federal grants specifically for community-based violence intervention programs that target black men and boys and focus on conflict resolution? Somebody type conflict resolution in the chat room. Somebody type, they need to get a conflict resolution desk at every Walmart in the hood, at every Popeye's chicken. Name the rest of them. Well, I look at all these people battling each other. They got the Royal Rumbles going on at the damn Walmart because black people don't have conflict resolution. And since black women are teaching their black sons, this is how you resolve conflict. Black men then take that and go a step further and next thing you know, you got this extra level of violence. Are y'all with me? I mean, is this boring? Let me know, because I think we need to talk about mental health. We need to establish some free counseling and mental health services. Drop a place off, pull the truck up right in the heart of Chicago, in all the hoods, okay? Offer some free mental health evaluations. That's what I want you to do. Free mental health counseling and evaluations to help black men deal with the impacted mental issues associated with violence. And this should include therapy and group therapy settings, focused on healing from racial trauma, community violence, childhood trauma, and police brutality. This is what we need. Kamala didn't say that. If you really want to know what we need, I'm going to tell you. You don't have to like it, but I'm going to tell you. Okay? We need spaces like that for black men and black boys to receive these services without a stigma. It's necessary. You got a body, you got a brain. Both of them need health. And if you create something that targets mental health of black men, that's going to help out tremendously. Now, the other thing is, I want to share this broad. I want to share. And just to lay a foundation, they're basically saying that black men all of a sudden just didn't want to vote for Kamala Harris. You guys remember what Barack Obama said? He said because we're sexist. But the truth is, there's been a downward trend of black men less and less every election season voting for the Republicans. You guys are just not going for it. You just don't believe them, and you're not going for it anymore. And these folks pointed that out. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my little music in the background because I don't want to get a copyright strike. So I'm going to play my music in the background while this plays, and hopefully that'll cover it a little bit, okay? And I'm gonna let it play. You guys listen. We'll talk about it. All right, let me know if you can hear it. Hit the number one.
Polls all the time, and sometimes there's a trend line that I never noticed before and make me go, whoa. This is one of them, all right? This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45 in presidential elections. You go back to November of 2012, what do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. A tremendous drop already. And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points. That is about half the margin.
Man, my man is over there panicking. Oh my God, it's amazing. This dude is sitting there. Keep listening though. Keep listening.
That Obama won them by back in November of 2012. And this, I think, is, when Barack Obama goes in last week when he was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, essentially talking to young black men, he made it seem like it was a Kamala Harris specific problem. This is part of a long-standing trend of young black men moving the Democratic Party, and Kamala Harris is just the latest to face that magnitude of younger black men going towards the Republicans.
That was what's most interesting here is the trend line and where some of the biggest drops happen or already happen in this case. How about black men overall?
Guys,
how about black men overall? It's part of the same picture,
So basically, fellas, it's been a long time coming, okay? We have been decided that we're going to leave the Democrat Party. I've been telling you guys for a minute, and it doesn't help that President Trump has actually done some things for black men. Now, I mentioned a lot of things that we would like. We would like from Kamala Harris. And the crazy part about it, some of the things that I actually suggested that we actually need, Trump has done it. Okay. And so again, I'm an advocate for folks voting their interests, whatever your interests be. I'm not here to tell you what to do. You're American citizens. You've earned that right. And I'm going to tell you to vote for interest. But let me suggest to you this. If you vote for Donald Trump, you might get more criminal justice reform, because it was Donald Trump, the First Step Act is one of the most significant pieces of criminal justice reform legislation we've seen in decades. It specifically helped black men. It helped a lot of men, but specifically helped black men who were trapped in the prison system under these unjust, harsh sentencing laws. And let's not forget, it was Donald Trump who signed this bill into law, not Obama, not Biden. It was Trump. And what did it do? It reduced the mandatory minimum sentences for non-violent drug offenders, something that disproportionately impacted black men. What did I tell y'all earlier? Weed, right? A lot of black men in jail because of weed. You see? Somebody type Mary Jane in the chat room. Somebody type Mary Jane in the chat room. Somebody type that ganja in the chat room. And so Donald Trump's the law he signed in effect, it helped get folks out of jail. How about the other thing it did was it expanded early release programs for prisoners who demonstrated good behavior and desire to reform, right? It retroactively applied the Fair Sentencing Act of 2010, which reduced the sentencing disparity between crack and powder cocaine offenses. Again, something that disproportionately affected black men. Now, we know where that came from. That was from that Get Tough 1994 crime bill. That was Joe Biden who wrote that. Okay, now keep that in mind. And so this wasn't just talk, brothers. This was action. And thousands of black men were released from prison and given a second chance at life. So when we talk about policies that actually do something for black men, this is one of the strong examples. That was under Trump. And remember, Donald Trump didn't promise us a damn thing. Remember that. Donald Trump didn't promise us for anything. We didn't ask him for anything, because we just didn't think we were going to get anything. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to ask ourselves, when we ask ourselves, why are black men voting for Trump? Why are they running away from the Democrat Party? Maybe this is something that should be considered. Here's another thing. Let's talk about the historic funding for HBCUs. And no matter it, mind you, Donald Trump didn't promise us a damn thing. Did I say that yet? I'm gonna say that again. He didn't promise us anything. But this is what we got under Donald Trump. Okay. The other thing
Make
is
of her.
the other thing is he took decisive action when funding these HBCUs. For years, HBCUs have been struggling with underfunding, even during the Obama administration. And you know, it's like Obama just turned his back. I think under Obama, he actually gutted some of the funding for HBCUs. This lets you know where this man is coming from.
Kamala.
All right. But what did Trump do? He signed a bill that provided permanent funding for HBCUs and increased the budgets more than any president before. And how did that benefit black men? HBCUs are critical. I'm a product of HBC. Y'all wouldn't have Uncle D if it wasn't for GSU, Grambling State University, and Southern University Law Center. You wouldn't have me as an advocate. If I went to one of these other schools and went off to these PWIs, I would be as distant from Black life as so many other of our highly educated brothers. I'm just telling you, that's just how it is. But when you go to a HBCU, you typically fall in love again with the positive aspects of Black life in America. Okay? That's typically what happens. And so my first time being around that many positive Black mentors and students, everybody on the road to education, that's something that fundamentally changed my perspective. Being in a stadium full of Black people for the first time when I went to the Southern University, Grambling State University football game that happens during Thanksgiving weekend called the Bayou Classic in New Orleans, Louisiana, it fundamentally changed my perspective on Black life in America. I could never go back to thinking I could never believe the hype that Black folk was ignorant and we were only good for shoot 'em up, bang, bang. Couldn't do it because I'd seen better. You see what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. That's the power of an HBCU. The reason I still deal with these hard-headed, thick-necked Black women, married one, got another baby mama that's Black, and even my current wife, Afro-Latina, I still deal with Black women because all of those women were present at my HBCU experience, and I still love Black women. You see? And if you take yourself and you go to school in Iowa, Idaho, somewhere where there's only white women, for the most part, that's what you're going to end up with. And that's typically what happens. You end up dealing with who's around you. And if you get used to dating and dealing with Black women, you kind of stuck. So going to HBCU is the reason why y'all still have Uncle D. So shout out to the HBCU experience. Now, HBCUs are critical in providing education opportunities for the brothers. Other brothers that wouldn't otherwise have access to higher education. I tell you, coming out of Manual Arts High School, fresh out of the Los Angeles riots, dodging bullets, trying to do my best to stay out of trouble. I had a 2.6 GPA. I had a 750 on the SAT. I had I think a 17 or 18 on the ACT. Man, I was not qualified, and I failed Spanish. I wasn't qualified to even go to a California university school. So if I was subject to that system, I would never be where I am today. I wouldn't even been able to get in college. I got a homeboy. He just graduated from college. We graduated from school in 1992. And he just got his college degree about 4 years ago. You understand me? But my Grambling State University, my alma mater, 2.5, 750 on the SAT. We understand what you dealt with. My first semester there, I got a 3.7 GPA out of 4.0, which means I got all A's and one grade that wasn't that great. But the bottom line is I got food, I got peace of mind, I got an opportunity to be studied, and I got a lot of mentors around that actually cared about me. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why the HBCU experience is fundamentally and has fundamentally changed my life. So if you want to do something for Black people, you want a program, fund those HBCUs. But I'm sorry, Barack, Biden? No, Donald Trump already did that. This funding helped improve resources and facilities and scholarships specifically for Black students. And that's where the Black men are. And it gave them a better chance at succeeding in their academic and professional lives. Trump didn't just promise support for Black colleges. He didn't promise anything to us, but he delivered. And this was a direct action that benefited Black men attending these institutions. So I want y'all to think about that. What about the record low unemployment? Before the pandemic hit, Black unemployment was at its lowest level in history under Donald Trump's administration. And brothers, somebody type brothers, we all know what jobs are the foundation for building better lives and for ourselves and our families. And when Black men are working, it means we can provide for our families. We can build wealth. We can contribute to our communities. And what led to this? Tax cuts, deregulation. Trump policies led to job creation across industries, which benefited everyone, including Black men. And guess what? He shut that border down. So you creating more jobs, but you letting more people who will come in and work these jobs, other than the Americans that are already here. Guess what? You're going to be in the same situation. So that's why one hand feeds the other. You can't create more jobs and then open the border up for a whole bunch of people from Venezuela and China and Africa to come over here. No, you got to shut the border down, create jobs, and those employers will pay the price they need to pay to get those jobs filled. Look, the other thing he had is opportunity zones. The administration designated economically distressed areas as opportunity zones, and that encouraged investment and development in the Black communities. And this helped bring jobs and resources to places that had been neglected for years. See, unlike Kamala Harris, Trump's policies don't just benefit the top 1%. They create jobs and economic growth that trickle down to us, providing opportunities for Black men who have been shut out. You understand? So, here's the thing. You know what else we need? School choice. So you don't have to send your child to the ghetto. They don't treat your child right in the ghetto. You got a voucher and your kid can go sit out there in the suburbs. Trump supports that. I think that's cool. School choice. And again, I mentioned this earlier, Trump's administration placed a heavy emphasis on America first. Somebody type Black MAGA in the chat room. Somebody type Black MAGA in the chat room. I need 3 more super chats. Somebody type Black MAGA in the chat room. Okay? He created jobs and opportunities for citizens returning, including Black men who have been previously been incarcerated. A lot of these political leaders talk about second chances. Trump's policies actually help brothers who came back home, and I ain't talking about from war. They came back home from doing that time, and they got jobs. This is prison to work initiatives that help connect formerly incarcerated men with job training and employment opportunities. Also, they gave tax credits for businesses that hire former inmates, making it easier for Black men with criminal records to get jobs and build their lives. How can we not support this dude? I don't care how abrasive you think Donald Trump is. How can you not support somebody who didn't promise us a damn thing? I'm just talking about me. He ain't promised us nothing, but he gave us more than all these Democrats, including this Black president that we had. Look, what can I expect moving forward? Why am I voting for this man again? And I don't care what you do. I'm telling you what I'm going to do. I'm me voting my interests of Black men. My interest is seeing Black men do well for themselves. Trump has shown me he's willing to act, not just talk. And when it comes to improving the lives of Black men, as we head into this election, I expect him to continue these policies that build on the progress that's been made. I expect more investment in the Black communities through programs like opportunity zones, increased funding for Black owned businesses. I expect him to continue reducing unemployment for black men and expanding job opportunities. I expect him to build on the First Step Act, making even more reforms to the criminal justice system to ensure that black men are no longer unfairly targeted or over-sentenced. And I expect him to further his investment in HBCUs that will ensure that black men have access to higher education and resources that we need to succeed. Trump has already proven that he can deliver tangibles, results for black men, criminal justice reform, record low black unemployment, historic funding for HBCUs, opportunity zones. These aren't just talking points. These are real impactful policies that this man did. Now, the Democrats want to election us and shame us and throw us out at proposals at the last minute. They've had 60 years, okay? But what the record shows me is that when it comes to actually delivering tangibles for black men, as we look ahead, we can expect Donald Trump to continue for our own interests, not just do it for our vote, but for real lasting change. Look, man. look. I don't care what this dude said.
Sent us a love letter.
Yeah.
That to you, that might have been a policy document.
Love letter in the chat.
I read that as a love letter from Kamala Harris to black men who need some love.
Crying man Van. We don't want her love, crying man Van. We want tangibles. We want food on the table. I don't give a damn about a love letter. I mean, look, man. This dude right here, man, is just one of the weakest representations of black men that I've ever seen. All that damn crying, all that begging. Do you go over to the Latino community and tell them that their politicians are offering them a love letter? Is that what you do? Listen to this. Look at this.
Black men who need some respect. Black men who need some concern and some care and concern.
We don't need your respect. We're getting our respect right now. Now we're getting our respect. Don't jump out here and tell us what we know what the hell we need. Crying man Van.
Consideration. You know, we need some mamala from
You hear that? He basically is, look, I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to have a whole nother conversation about this. But this man basically is calling y'all a bunch of mama's boys. All right, y'all throwing a little tantrum. Come on back in. Mamala's here. That woman is not even black. She's not even foundational black American. She ain't none of our mamas. Our mamas probably wouldn't even like her. You understand me? That's what I want y'all to understand.
And we got that. We stood on business. We said we wanted to hear something.
You didn't do a damn thing. You told us to vote for Donald Trump no matter what. Vote blue no matter who. Until we start kicking up dust, then was a problem.
Everybody else is getting.
Let me get this dude off of here, man. I can't do it. Here's something else that I'm gonna deal with this in a minute. I'm gonna deal with that another day. Look, let me explain something to y'all, man. I need 2 more super chats, brothers. Let's talk about why Donald Trump resonates with so many of us. Okay. Let me tell you, it's what he's about to do if he gets back in the White House. That's why. And one of the things that we as black men admire most about Donald Trump, and I'm going to get down and dirty. I'm going to explain to you because a lot of people don't understand. They keep a lot. Oh, it's just he's a sect. No, it's because Donald Trump is not afraid to shake shit up. You understand me? He is willing to shake up the establishment. He's coming back to finish the job. And let me tell you, it's about time that someone came in and shook the tree. The same institutions that have been unfriendly and hostile and downright destructive to black men for generations are the ones Trump is getting ready to go after. We need someone who's not afraid to call out the system, someone who's going to attack the very powers that have never had our backs. See, the establishment has been playing games with our black lives for decades. It's the same system that ignored the struggles, and when it does pay attention, it's only to target and destroy black men and boys. Trump is ready to go after that system, and we need that kind of energy right now. You see, the thing about Trump is he's not afraid to take on the big institutions, the so-called powers that be. He's already shown us what he's willing to do. He's just getting started. In the mainstream media, for example, somebody type fake news in the chat room. The mainstream media, somebody type fake news in the chat room. The mainstream media has never been a friend of the black man. They love to portray us as criminals, as violent, as the enemy, as the other. And whether it's how they frame our interactions with law enforcement or how they spin the narrative when we rise up to demand justice, the media has always put us on the defenses. Well, Trump isn't having it. He's gone after the news media. We all know that they hate him for it. But brothers, we need someone who's going to attack the media head on, because they've done nothing but damage our image. Trump will hold them accountable for their bias, for their lies, and for the way they distort reality to keep up the negative light. The other thing he's doing, he's taking on the Justice Department, the FBI, and the CIA. And again, he's going to shake those departments up. So it's not just the media. All of these people, but especially this Justice Department, FBI, and CIA, all of them have notoriously been used to target and destroy black men. These institutions have a long history of not serving justice, but rather serving their own interests, and those interests often come at our expense. Let's look at the FBI. Let's not forget COINTELPRO, the FBI program that targeted black leaders. Brother Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and the Black Panthers, they'll still be alive if it wasn't for the FBI. Let me say that again. Black leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and the Black Panthers, they would still be alive if it wasn't for, maybe they wouldn't be alive, but they wouldn't have gotten murdered if it wasn't for the FBI. Because see, their goal was to destroy black activism from within, and they were effective at silencing some of the most powerful voices in our community. And this same FBI and their tactics have been used to criminalize black men, to surveil and harass us, to keep us under thumb. And Trump isn't going to let these agencies run wild anymore. He's going to clean house. Somebody type clean house in the chat room. He's going to clean house and make sure the FBI can no longer target black men under the guise of law and order. The Justice Department, for years, the Justice Department has stood by as black men were unjustly imprisoned, unfairly prosecuted, and subjected to harsher sentences than anyone else. And Trump's commitment to reforming the Justice Department means that we can see real change in how this system operates. He's already proven that with the First Step Act, and he's not afraid to take on the criminal justice reform. And we expect him to go even further in dismantling the corruption that has kept black men down too, especially since they tried to go after him. Somebody type revenge. Yeah, that's what's good. Oh my God, he's going to seek revenge on the first day of office. We hope he does. The FBI and the CIA, they ain't been no friend of us. The CIA has a long, dirty history of being involved in activities that destabilize communities and countries of color, from flooding our neighborhoods with dope during the crack epidemic to covert operations that have global repercussions on black and brown people around the world. And this agency has that blood on his hands and has had it for years. Trump is not going to let the CIA operate unchecked. I expect him to hold them accountable for their actions, both past and present. These agencies have never been friendly to us, brothers. They've been used to destroy, to surveil, to intimidate us for decades, and we need someone who's not afraid to take them on. Trump has proven that he has the courage and the cojones and will shake these institutions to their core. So why do I have a problem with this man being elected as a black man? Why do I have a problem with him taking revenge for what these people have done to us? For him, the same people have tried to destroy us. I don't give a damn. They need to be shook up. Some of them are rotten to the core. They need to shake the rotten apples out of that tree so they can get back to the business of what they were doing. There's also these other institutions that have been hostile to black men. we fully expect Trump to go after them as well. Starting with social media platforms and other big tech companies that have played a massive role in censoring black men's voices, manipulating the algorithms to drown out our perspectives and controlling the narrative. It's no damn way I should have only 750 subscribers or 70,000 subscribers. Matter of fact, I'm about to put the subscriber count, subscribers only out right now. We about to do subscribers only right now. Y'all make sure if you ain't subscribed, you better subscribe right now or you're going to be silent. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, let's go ahead and get the subscriber count popping. Mm-hmm. All right, subscribers only. Y'all make sure if you want to comment, subscribe. Nevertheless, you know, they play a massive role in censoring black voices. And Trump's battle with big tech, remember he got banned from Twitter. How do you ban a sitting president from a social media platform, right? These companies have a history of suppressing conservative black voices. And I'm not even conservative. I'm just saying. You understand? I wouldn't even call myself, but how do you silence black voices like that? See, Trump is going to hold big tech accountable and dismantle these monopolies that have silenced us. The other thing is academia. Some of these universities aren't worth a damn thing. These universities in the academic world have become breeding grounds for ideologies that demonize black men and men in general, but especially black men, whether it's labeling us as inherently problematic or teaching a version of history that ignores the contributions of black men. And these institutions have done more harm than good. And I feel like Trump will defund and expose these institutions for the damage they've caused and for the efforts to brainwash these young minds against us. Now, the big one is immigration. That's the elephant in the room. Brothers, let's be real about this. When it comes to immigration, the mainstream media and the Democrats want us to believe that opening the floodgates is our best interest. But the truth is, illegal immigration has hurt black men more than anyone else. And when millions of undocumented workers flood the job market, it's black men who feel the economic pinch. How's it hurt? Number one, illegal immigrants are often willing to work for much lower wages, and this undercuts the job market for working class black men, whether it's construction, manufacturing, or service jobs. Black men are being priced out by people who aren't even supposed to be in this damn country in the first damn place. Not only do illegal immigrants take jobs, but their willingness to work for low wages also drives down wages across the board. Black men who already are dealing with economic disenfranchisement and being forced to accept less pay for the same work to compete. Okay, so we don't need any more competition. Another thing is, you deal in many black communities, illegal immigrants, they place additional strain on the public resources. Number one is schools. Once they get into those schools, they feel entitled. You got whole programs set aside just to cater to them. That's our tax dollars paying that. The other thing is healthcare and housing. You go to the hospital, you got an emergency. You go to the house, you got 1,000 illegal immigrants ahead of you. Other thing is social services. Go down to the local social security office. Half those people down here aren't even Americans. I mean, we already are outstretched. We need resources for our communities, for our brothers who have been here working and contributing. Instead, these resources are being diverted to serve the growing population of illegal immigrants. They didn't come here the right way. Shout out to all the people who are first, second generation, third generation immigrants. You came here the right way. We good. And we know what Trump is going to do. Number one, he's going to stop the flow of illegal immigration once and for all. And he's going to secure the border and make sure the American jobs go to American citizens first, especially black men who've been economically displaced. He's going to end the open border policies that have flooded our communities with workers who undercut our labor and our labor force and take opportunities from every man, not just black men, but every man. And these are black men. When I say black men, I also mean the very men who need it most. Brothers, this isn't about hate. This is about survival. This is about making sure we don't get another 20 million immigrants coming up here for the next 4 years. This is about making sure we have a chance to compete in a job market, that our wages are protected, and that our communities aren't left behind while illegal immigrants with resources that we fought for. I want y'all to think about that. Now, I'm going to take the opportunity to read these super chats because that's where it's at. My man TIQS, I can see Trump giving RFK the CIA director. That would definitely shake up. I bet it would. Thank you, Timothy Humphrey. Thank you for the super sticker, $3. My man Ben Sicko, thank you. 20 Trump 2024. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Mamala, right? Ain't that crazy? They just doing us wrong. Uncle D, you are much appreciated. No problem, brother. Thank you so much. Devanaha, yeah, I can't say that name. I'm just call you YHVD. Thank you so much. TIQS, Daily Tuition. Hit the subscribe button. Good people. Thank you so much, fam. Who else we got? I'm taking the February 2025 UBE bar exam. Your channel encourages me to seek justice in law. Me and my naturalized wife are celebrating our 6th-year anniversary. Well, congratulations, CBU Travels. Good looking out, fam. OTOB, Judge Dennis. I'm currently a master's degree student majoring in accounting, MIS. Want to be a CPA now. Will change my life. However, I'm scared of failing. Please, I need book a session, bro. We'll talk about that. All right. You know, email me at spurlingdennis@gmail.com. I'll definitely help you work on, you know, setting up some business structure. So, you know, it's only so much you can do. You know what I'm saying? But good looking out. I will definitely do that for you. Who else we got up in here? Thank you so much. Dodge the Trap. Welcome to the membership, fam. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Who else we got up in here? Let's see, read that one already. We got 18-point black, very little 18-point black male political agenda by Tia Son Johnson, PhD, and the 40,000 members of the Brotherhood of the YouTube's Onyx Report accept no substitute for an agenda for black men. Hey, man, I help. I offer some stuff up for that, man. Some of my talking points are in there. So yeah, shout out to the 18-point black male political agenda. I think I was working on it when it was 14 points. But shout out to Dr. Tia Son Johnson. Also, big shout out to I Dodge the Trap. A day later, dollar short. Democrats don't realize we see them. When they insult us, remember they're shills. When this dust clears, they're our enemies. Amen. Brothers have changed. Brothers have changed. Timothy Bright, Deacon Spurling for president, Deacon Spurling for Congress, Deacon Spurling for Senate. I ain't about to be running for nobody's office, but I am not doing it. I'm better right here doing what I do. If that's your proclivity and inclination, you go right on ahead. I do my work right here talking to the brothers on the daily. Thank you so much, Black Samurai. But shout out to you, Timothy Bright. My man, Black Samurai. I never heard so many people talking about black men in all my years. We must be important to some people as black men. We are our enterprise. Man, stay down, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep putting your foot on. You got to pay attention. Who else we got? I took pictures at 2 Men Fatherhood Conference this month. Friend helped me pay down 7,000 credit card. No interest. I'm happy my score is 7. Look at you balling. Logic hits. Got my passport. I'm feeling better already. Hey, look at you, man. Craig Smith, thank you for the $5 super chat. Bernard Harrell, thank you so much for the super sticker. Also, Hideo Maximus, very true. This is right, folks. Yeah, man, we're going to keep rolling. Terenzo, none of this form either side would benefit Gen X. The forgotten skip gen of everything. Salute from Colorado. Hey, man, shout out to you, man. Griff, good looking out for the super sticker. Also, elevated engineer, just early voting and cast my vote for Trump. Kick rocks, Obama. Look, I'm going to tell y'all again, vote your interest. Whoever you decide to vote for, I want you to vote your interest. That's all I'm asking you to do. But be informed. I don't care who you vote for. Trump, Kamala, whoever you vote for. All right. Other thing is big shout out to my man, Animal Advocate. So get big shout out to you. And also, last one up, I want to give a big shout out to Logic Hits. Daily appreciative, Uncle. No problem, fam. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Let's see, we got some cash apps out here in these streets. And y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and get that subscription popping to the cash app motif. My man, Junk Photography, good looking out, man. And also, thank you, Charles. Appreciate y'all. Now, that being the case, it's time to ease on down the yellow brick road. Trump, in my opinion, is the only candidate who has shown that he's willing to shake up the establishment, to take on the institutions that have been hostile to black men for too long. whether it's the mainstream media, the Justice Department, the FBI, the CIA, big tech. Trump is ready to hold them accountable and dismantle the systems that have targeted and suppressed us. Somebody type us in the chat room. And when it comes to illegal immigration, Trump understands that it's Black men who are bearing the brunt of these policies. We're going to secure our jobs, protect our wages, and stop the flow of illegal immigrants who are pushing Black men out of the workforce. Brothers, it's time for real change. It's time to stop playing the game that the Democrats and the establishment have been running on us for years. We need someone who's ready to fight for us, to protect our interests, and to stand up to the institutions that have never had our backs. That someone is Trump. You understand? Now, I'm going to keep it real. Kamala's last-minute proposal aimed at Black men, and as far as I'm concerned, it's a nice shot, but it's too little, too late. And we can't fall for it. It's insulting. After years of neglect and dismissing our needs, now, when she's down in the polls, she suddenly wants to throw a bone our way, thinking we'll just take it and run to the voting booths and like we always have. And let me tell you, right now, we're not falling for it. Somebody type, we're not falling for it in the chat room. Harris's so-called plan is inconsequential to Black men. It's not going to fix the real problems we face, and it's not even designed to do so. She's using this as a political trick, hoping we'll be fooled by a bunch of buzzwords and vague promises. But we see through it. We've seen this game before. For 60 years, the Democrats they've had our vote, and for 60 years, they've taken us for granted. They've given us nothing but lip service, symbolic gestures, and broken promises. And here's the thing. Decades later, we're still fighting the same battles, still facing the same struggles, still being ignored until election time rolls around. Kamala Harris wants us to believe that she suddenly cares about Black men. Do y'all believe that? Do you believe that Kamala Harris suddenly cares about Black men? Do you believe that this plan of hers is going to save us? Brothers, don't be fooled. We don't trust her, and we don't trust the Democrats. They've lied to us over and over again. And mark my words, if we fall for this now, she'll disappear. She'll disappear for the next 4 years, only to reappear in 2018 when she needs our votes again. That's how this game works. She doesn't care about us. She just cares about getting power. Let's not forget the most obvious point. She's the vice president right now. If Kamala Harris wanted to make these things happen for Black men, if she really wanted to help us, she could do it right now. She doesn't need to wait until the election. She could do it today. Everything in her so-called proposal could be accomplished immediately through executive orders. She's been in office for nearly 4 years. She hasn't done a single one of the things. Not one. Where was she when we were demanding criminal justice reform? Where was she when Black men were being disproportionately affected by the pandemic? Where was she when Black men needed jobs and support? She was silent. And now she's got the nerve to tell us she's going to fix it all right before the election. Mamala is going to fix it all. That's a slap in the face, brothers. That's straight up, unadulterated disrespect. This isn't about helping Black men. This is about tricking us into voting for her. And once she's got our vote, she'll go back to ignoring us. Just like she's done for the last 4 years. Just like the Democrat Party has done for the last 60 years. She and they are hoping we'll forget the disrespect. They're hoping we'll forget the dismissal and the outright neglect. But, you know, we're not forgetting. And we're not buying it. We need to be clear. Kamala Harris is lying. This plan is a political stunt. It's smoke and mirrors designed to make us think she's got our back, when in reality, she's only looking out for herself. Brothers. And see, when I say brothers, I'm talking about brother. I'm not giving you the Barack Obama brother. I'm talking about brothers. Hood brothers, country brothers, brothers I grew up with, brothers who I'm related to, brothers. We got to be smarter than this. We got to demand more. We got to stop letting politicians use us as pawns in their game of power. We're not falling for it. We don't trust her. We won't be fooled by a last-minute, half-baked plan thrown together in desperation. Kamala Harris, we see you. We reject your empty promises, and you had your chance. You had 4 years to show us where you stand, and you did nothing. Brothers, it's time, or should I say the time has come to stand strong, to reject the lies and demand better. We're done being taken for granted. We're done with being lied to. Kamala's plan, too little, too late. And let me suggest one more thing. You see, as a black man, they're out here trying to convince us not to vote for Donald Trump or the Republicans by scaring us with this boogeyman of systematic racism. They want us to be afraid. They're telling us that if we don't vote for them, we're somehow endorsing our oppression. But let's be real for a second. Does that argument hold up under real scrutiny? They talk about systematic racism, but if you look at the last 60 years, who's been in control of the cities where black men have been suffering the most? Chicago, Detroit, LA, Oakland. Who's been making decisions about our schools, our neighborhoods, our police forces? The answer, brothers, is the Democrats. They've controlled the urban centers where black men have struggled to find jobs, have been incarcerated at higher rates, and have been subjected to violent policing. Where's the help been? They've had our votes for 6 decades, and yet black men remain at the bottom of nearly every major metric: economics, health, education, criminal justice. We at the bottom. So while they point the fingers and tell us to be afraid of systematic racism coming from the other side, let's talk about systematic neglect that they've been guilty of for decades. It's the Democrats who've taken our loyalty and done nothing to improve our communities. It's the Democrats who've used black men as political props only to leave us out in the cold once they've secured our votes. They want us to fear Donald Trump. But let me ask you this. Who done more to actually reform criminal justice? Who signed the First Step Act that freed thousands of black men from unjust sentences? Who funded HBCUs at historical levels? It wasn't the damn Democrats. It was Donald Trump. Systematic racism isn't just about bad actors in the system. It's about policies and practices and decisions made by those in power. And for 60 years, the Democrats have been in power in places where we as black men are hurting the most. They've had the chance to change things, but instead, they've overseen a system that has consistently left us behind. So who's really guilty of systematic harm towards the black man? Kamala Harris wants to scare us into thinking Trump is an enemy. But the truth is, we've seen more action from Trump in 4 years than we've seen from the Democrats in the last 6 decades. The Democrats are trying to paint themselves as our saviors. But the only thing they've saved is their own political power. Brothers, don't be fooled by these scare tactics. They're just trying to tell you that voting for Trump is a vote for systematic racism, but that doesn't hold up under the facts. The real system that has held us down has been their neglect, their inaction, and their broken promises. Kamala Harris had her chance. She had 4 years as vice president to make changes for black men, and she did nothing. Now she's coming to us 2 weeks before the election with a last-minute plan to win our votes. But we've seen this game before, and we don't trust her. Somebody say all cap in the chat room. We don't trust her. Somebody say Cap and Kamala in the chat room. We don't trust Democrats. Because the truth is, while they talk about systematic racism, they've been guilty of systematic neglect of black men for decades, and we're not falling for it anymore. Thank you, brothers. Stay strong. Think for yourselves, and don't be swayed by fear. Let's demand better. This is Uncle D, and I'm out.
Dennis Spurling Podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe.